Hello everybody. I wanted to welcome you back to another episode of the Outdoor Buzz. Today I wanted to go over a little bit about being lost as a beekeeper, I guess. Um, there are some times when you're beekeeping and things went exactly as planned. Early when I started, everything was going like clockwork, and then I had a couple of pitfalls here and there, and you know, trying to figure out what to do was kind of the hardest part. Lack of experience kind of doesn't help. You talk to your mentor, you talk to a few people, but realistically, unless they're right here with you, you're pretty much on your own to decide what to do, what not to do. Now, if you watched my videos before, episode 16 is where I ran into the biggest issue. That was my first. That was my first problem that I incurred when this hive right here, on June 10th, I discovered that it probably had swarmed a week or two prior to me discovering it. There was probably 9 or 10 queen cells, supersedure cells, or both actually, in there. The queen was gone. Half the hive looked like it was gone. I never saw um, this. I never saw the hive swarm, but that's just kind of what we assumed had happened. Um, so I had to make a decision on what to do back then. So I split this hive into two. I got one over there and this one. Took a few queen cells from there, half the bees, and put them in that hive. Trial and error. That hive is doing well right now. Queen hatched. I actually didn't see that she had hatched, and I released another queen, which they killed in about 20 seconds. So that was a learning experience. But since then, that hive is doing really well. Correspondingly, this hive right here, now this was, like I said, on June 10th that happened. By June 25th, now you gotta understand it's July 13th today, 2017. On June 25th, by June 25th, this hive had showed no evidence of a queen activity, eggs, nothing. So I decided to get a couple of queens, and like I said, that queen over there, uh, that queen over there got killed right away. This queen, I released. I had her in here for a couple of days, and they hadn't released her, so I sprayed her with Honeybee Healthy, and I sprayed a few frames with Honeybee Healthy, and she walked right into the hive. Well, fast forward a couple of weeks from the 25th, and I checked the hive, and there were still no signs of eggs. I'm not a great egg spotter. I wear glasses, and I just can't spot them. I can spot larvae pretty good, and there wasn't any. And no eggs, no larvae, no nothing. I put a frame of brood with some larvae in it from another hive in there, just to keep the bees busy while I figured out what to do. So my plan was to get another queen and put her in here. So what I did was, this had two deep boxes, and the bees were dwindling down because they hadn't had any new brood in 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So the numbers were starting to drop. So what I did was I took a bee escape, and I set it on the between the first deep and the second deep, and then 2 days later, all of the bees were gone. You can probably see that in episode 19, where all of them were gone at that time. So I forced all the bees left into the one box, took the second box off, and I actually the split that I made, I gave some of the frames over there to that, because that's doing so well they needed a second deep. so I added it to that one there. So I ordered the queen, and it came today. So you're talking from the 25th. I didn't think that we had any a queen or eggs or any sign of anything. Uh, Today's the 13th. So what is that? 5 days, 18 days. So that was 18 days ago when I decided to do all that. Now a week, maybe a little over 8 days ago, maybe 9 days ago, I I went and just checked just to see what was going on in there, and there still wasn't. So today that queen arrived, so I went to go put her in here. And of course, when you're going to do that, you might as well, do a last check to see what was going on. Well, what I discovered today was um, that indeed um, there was indeed a queen in there laying at some point in time. Um, there was capped larvae. There was larva. I didn't see any eggs. There was a lot of open cells. Very, very spotty. Very, very spotty. But what was also interesting, what was in there, was about 5 queen cells. There was 3 supersedure cells and two hanging from bottom. Now, I don't know what the heck is going on. Like I said, June 25th, I released that queen. If there was a queen in there, and you're telling me that already they're superseding her, either that or she's just that bad that they decided that they're going to supersede her. Now, is she still in there? I looked today, I couldn't find her. Couldn't find the one that I planted either. It was marked yellow. She wasn't in there. That yellow one wasn't in there a week after I put her in there on the 25th. I checked it out. So I have no idea which queen was in there laying, but she was doing a crappy job. So today when I go in there and I see 5 queen cells, and I have a queen sitting here, what am I going to do? What is this hive going to do? Is this hive ready to swarm? Is that what's going on? This is where I'm a little lost, and I don't have time to go and get a bunch of opinions and figure it out. The queen was here. I gotta do something with her. So I set her on the top of the hive, took a look at what the bees were doing, and they crawled on the cage. It was really hard to tell. Are they attacking the cage? I'm not experienced enough to know if they were. They didn't look too aggressive towards it, but were they happy to see her? I have no idea. I installed the queen cage in there. Hopefully it'll be in there for a couple of weeks. But what I also did was I removed all of the queen cells. I don't know. I'm new, I'm inexperienced, and I'm a little lost. I've been lost a few times in this beekeeping endeavor. Now I've got 3 hives that are doing well, and one that is just has me scratching my head completely. Another example of me being lost was I had ordered 2 queens for today, and I ordered one for a hive that I didn't think the queen was laying very well, so I was going to kill her. And as it turns out, she's doing just fine. And I had all kinds of frames full of larvae, full of eggs, and it was just a matter of I went in at a wrong time, and the pattern was very, very spotty, and there was open cells in a lot of places, and I had thought that maybe she had lost her mojo. And so I canceled. Thank God I canceled that queen. And that hive's doing really well. As a matter of fact, I just put a second super on it. So, you just never know. But again, this beekeeping thing is not. It's not rocket science, but it's not a cakewalk either. So it can be frustrating at times to figure out what is the right course of action. Obviously, the last time I bought 2 queens, they were $18 a piece, so it was $36, and neither one of them You know, one of them got killed right away. One of them I released. I never saw her again. Um, was there a queen in there? I don't know. Maybe she was on a mating flight when I checked, or when I released that other queen. I have no idea. But all I know is they didn't. They appeared that they didn't like either queen, to be honest with you, because 5 supersedure cells or 5 queen cells. That's telling you something. What it is exactly that they're telling you, I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to be interested to see. I'm leaving this weekend, thank God, because I won't touch this thing. Um, I'm leaving for the weekend, so hopefully I come back on Monday, and the queen is released, and I can, you know, poke my head in there and see her maybe working. I hope she's marked. Um, you know, all we can do is hope. But again, you know, this is just a journal of my beekeeping efforts. I know I'm going to make mistakes. This is a journal of my successes and my failures. So, is this a failure? I don't think so, but it's definitely a learning experience, and it's frustrating a little bit because you always want things to go right. But anyways, I just wanted to share with you some of the issues that I have been having with my hives, and some of the indecisions that I've had to face. Maybe it'll help you in the future. If you keep watching, you can see, actually I'll tell you exactly what happens to my hive, whether this was a success or if they released her and killed her right away. We'll find out, I'm sure. But anyways, short vid. Just wanted to let you know that you know, you're not alone. Everybody runs into these roadblocks on occasion. So, and I'm definitely run into my share so far. So, thanks for watching. Happy beekeeping. Take care. See you next time.